interactions forever. Hoot hoot!
Welcome back to MT Creations Creates. In this episode, we'll be building Hooty from the Owl House, and perhaps Ida's staff with Owlbert on it. Backstory time! I haven't really mentioned this much on the channel, but the Owl House is actually one of my very favorite shows. It's a really funny show, it's got a good story, it has Alex Hirsch, it references the Rock of Fire explosion. Some of my own stories and characters already show influence from this show. Like Lennel, that character definitely is built like a witch on the Boiling Isles. My sister first got me into it when season 1 was concluding, and I watched the whole show and I loved it, and now I'm showing it to my girlfriend. Although she has seen most of it already, we're just binging it so she can see how it ends. My favorite character in the entirety of the Owl House so happens to be Hooty, because of course he is. He's amazing, he's funny, he's long. Hoot hoot! So we're going to build Hooty in real life, and also potentially Ida's staff with Owlbert on top. You are definitely not asking, how are we going to do that? But I'm going to tell you anyway. We're going to 3D print it. That is what we do on the show mostly. And maybe someday I'll break out of that shell. But you know what? 3D printing is fun. But I know you probably already know that. We were going to 3D print it. Let me show you my blueprint so you actually know how we're going to do this thing. Here's a general sketch of everything that I want to do in this project. Minus the staff, that's different, but pretty straightforward. Just Hooty, he'll have multiple faces. I want to give him different expressions from the show. And you can put these different faces on an adapter that will sit on my door. And to change the faces, it'll be a simple like twist and lock system. I want to make different 3D printed sections so you can elongate his neck, because it's not Hooty if he can't just elongate out the door. And I want to work on the back side, but I will talk about that more later. And of course, I wish to make Porta-Hooty, so I'm going to figure out Porta-Hooty. And of course, I haven't drawn it here, but I will make Owlbert and Ida's staff. That probably doesn't even need a concept drawing. That one's just very easy. First, for this project, we're going to need a lot of reference images. Wait, empty! What? Dude, I'm trying to film a video. What is it? It's about your video. People have already made 3D printed Hooties, and there are several models and sculpts online. This idea isn't that original, man. Oh, what do I care? You know what I think? Just because someone has already done this idea does not mean that I can't do it. Especially when I'm going to put my own little spin on it. I have not yet seen a 3D printed Hooty that has interchangeable faces and expressions like mine is going to have. So let's get into it. But here's the thing. I will make all of this, but I think I'm going to have to start with the hardest part of the project, which is Porta-Hooty. You see, I'm going to be attending a convention pretty soon. And while no one from the Owl House is going to the convention, well, the Owl House is a nerdy thing, and conventions are nerdy things, and, you know, I think it'd just be a cool way to interact with some fellow nerds by having some kind of Owl House thing set up. So if I can, I'm going to bring Hooty with me, and perhaps the Owlbert Ida's staff, if I can get that done in time. Time of which we don't have a lot of time. So I did a lot of work off camera, but bear with me because I am going to take you through everything that I've done. First, obviously, I have started this project with the sculpts that I needed for Hooty, and not to hoot my own horn here, but I think they came out perfectly. I am very proud of them. I love the way they look. They capture Hooty just the way they should, and the finishing touches were very minimal. I made sure to capture some of Hooty's most iconic expressions from the show because this project is about a switch out capable decoration anyway. This will also make the Porta-Hooty more realistic, since I'll be able to transfer Hooty from my door, where he'll eventually hang from, right onto Porta-Hooty. So I've designed this interlocking system to make sure that can happen. It was after I was very proud of the Hooty sculpt, though, that I decided to just go ahead and I made Owlbert. It took me a few tries, but designing Owlbert and the staff was so easy that I have actually printed all the parts for it. I don't know if you could see it. It kind of blends with the chair there, but they're all there. We'll get to that in a second, though. Let's go back to Hooty. So I needed a system to be able to kind of twist and lock Hooty onto the adapter so he can hang from my door, and also be able to be switched out with different expressions and stuff. So I've designed some prototypes on that twist and lock system, and I don't print big until I have a working prototype. Well, sort of. I'll get to that too. So I came up with this little design. It'll probably be very hard to see on camera, but so you have this, and it's just this cylinder with these little pegs. This part will be attached to Hooty's face because it's just easier to print this in this orientation, so Hooty's face can be up here rather than the other part, which is more complicated. And the little pegs go through these little holes and lock as you twist them. So it works, and it works great on a small scale, but I needed more security. I need to practice the tolerance that I put into my prints. Meaning I need to practice modeling and finding how things can fit together with the right amount of friction, if that makes sense. So like the pegs on this, they fit nicely into the slots, and it holds together. But I'm not good at determining that sort of thing in general. I got lucky on this. So I made a different design to really secure that I'd be able to do that. It's a little different, but the same concept. I had trouble with the mini model, and it did not work out. But in Blender, I really tested it, and I really paid attention to the design and made sure it would work and nothing would conflict. This is when I had to just... Oh my... Well, I'm holding it like an Oreo cookie. This is when the prototype printed at a small scale was not working well. I don't like wasting filament, but I had to just bite the bullet, take a chance on it, and just go ahead, print the full thing, and hope that it works. I do have the security that I own a Dremel, and if anything prints out of whack, I can fix it physically. I don't know why I worry about wasting filament so much anyway, when I still waste a lot of filament anyway. So after I got the design that I wanted, I went ahead, put things together, finalized Hooty's sculpt, and now we have Hooty. It's a really good size. I think it was... Oh wait, I think he's 6 inches in diameter, which is probably smaller than the Canon Hooty size. I mean, he changes a lot in size from shot to shot in the show. The 6-inch measurement for Hooty just seemed like the right size to work with. It wouldn't take up too much filament. It worked out pretty well. I like it. I mean, he's about the size of my face, and if you've watched the Owl House, which I assume you have if you're watching this video, you probably know that in many shots, Hooty's face is about as big as most of the characters' faces, so it checks out. It's pretty good. I think this is a perfect size. That's what she said. Holy crap. I was holding that one in. So anyway, I'm sorry if this is all like very incoherent. I'm trying my best. I don't like sticking to a script I don't like sticking to a script word for word. I want to seem genuine, so I'm sorry if like it's hard to kind of follow the track I'm putting down. Anyway, so here's the design. I went ahead, printed it full scale. I had to trust it this time. It printed okay, the design on this, but what really needed to work was the door adapter. So you can kind of see much better the design that I made. You can't see it on the small version at all. Like, so this is what I did. Same slot. Hang on. Actually, let me compare. It's the same slot design. I made it thinner because I want Hooty's face to hug the door as closely as possible. And I added these little notches. Sorry, the camera does not like focusing when I want it to focus. I added these little notches that come down to help lock the little pegs in place. And when I printed it, I was a little worried that it wasn't really fitting well, but then I got it. And so you push them in, lock, and it works. I didn't even need to use my Dremel. I didn't need to modify any parts of it, and it works. On the back, there's a 3mm indentation for the command strips I will use to hang Hooty on my door. So there we go. The system works. It locks pretty well. And just boom. I'm so proud of this. Honestly. I'm really proud of this. I love how it turned out. I hope you guys, given you are also Owl House fans, will appreciate this. That's Hooty. That's Hooty. He turned out great. We're going to keep working on that. But now I need to show you the next part of the project. Ida's staff and Owlbert. So with Owlbert and Hooty ready to go, let's go to our next step. I think I'm just going to go ahead, put the staff together. And in the meantime, before I paint Owlbert, I'm going to make sure I can get the Porta-Hooty going. Because we do not have a lot of time before that convention. I have no idea how I'm going to pull this off. We'll see. Let's give it a go. Here's a better look at those staff pieces. Oh God. Oh no, what is that? Alright, I'm ready to glue this staff together. I am not going to do some sort of time lapse or anything because it's late at night and it's tedious, and I just want to get this thing done. I want to see this thing through. So what I'm going to do is I have these little pegs here and the pieces, they're numbered as well. And I'm just going to glue it all together and hope it works and it's strong enough to hold. And if it's not, I have other glues I will just use. Everything's numbered. I have these little pegs numbered as well to let me know between what staff parts they go into. Don't even think about it. I will delete your comment if you do. I'm just going to put this together and hope for the best. The staff is ready for its final part. It's so tall. I think it's ending up even a little taller than I imagined it would be, but that's fine because that's cool. It might be taller than it really actually is in the show. Again, I just went off this one frame that might have had incorrect measurements, but I don't care. This is great. One thing to note is it is not the sturdiest thing in the world. I mean, I'm using hot glue for this massive print. It might not be the best adhesive, and that is okay because we're just testing this out. And if this glue isn't going to be the right one, I'm willing to take this whole thing apart and use a different glue. I don't care. I'm willing. I will make dumb choices like this, but I know I can get around it later. So let's put the final piece on. Oh my God. This thing is impressive. It is huge. It is tall. It's taller than me. I think the choice of adhesive was terrible and it will fall apart, but I'm impatient and I needed to visualize this and see how tall it would be. It is taller than me. It is huge. And this thing is slightly shorter than Ida, which is crazy. I kind of like how overly tall it is. A bit of an update. The staff height, I'm happy with it. I'm going to keep it because it is just impressive. The hot glue is not going to keep this thing together. So I'm going to do something different for how to keep the staff intact. Today I ran out and got me some Gorilla Glue. So that'll be interesting to work with. I also got more hot glue gun sticks because I am running out, as you can see here. So I got more. Also got some more paint here. I got the primaries. Where's blue? And some golden brown. Actually, I should explain this little thing about my paints. So these are the paints that I use on my models. Craft Smart. It's pretty good. It does the job. It's cheap. And it's easy to buy these little bottles for like 79 cents a piece. So I mostly worked with these satin acrylic paints, and I needed more brown for Hooty and Owlbert, so I got brown, but this one's matte. It's a different kind of texture. I don't know why there are like dozens of these little USA moist towelettes. Ignore that for now, and a clothespin too. Anyway, the Craft Smart matte acrylic paint. So I got these only knowing that I needed more brown. I forgot to consider that I would need satin instead of matte, but it's already bought. I'm going to work with it. I'm going to try it out because from what I understand, satin is more gloss, matte is more just plain. I got 2 browns because eventually I am going to be printing a bunch of neck pieces for Hooty, and that's going to take a lot of printing. I'll explain why I don't want to use brown filament later. So to dive further into this whole use of the matte acrylic paint instead of the satin one, I decided to just get the primaries so I can mix them, and I needed golden brown, so I got some golden brown. So we're really set for this project. We got the paints, we have a different adhesive, we got more cartridges for the other adhesive that I use. I got these command strips to hold Hooty up to my door. Oh, and there's one more thing. I hope you guys like unboxing videos. I apologize for the background noise. Ayuna is currently printing the next Hooty face. But that's good because we really have to get a move on. Today, as of recording this, I've started working on the Porta-Hooty design because I need to. There is not a lot of time left. Holy crap, are we even gonna get this done? We'll have to see. So, I'm gonna deal with the staff on the side, but right now, we have to focus on the Porta-Hooty. I already got a little special something for it. The Porta-Hooty has these special green straps that the characters use to take Hooty around in this cute little house. So I went online, and we have a package to open here. So we have this huge package. I bet you can't guess what's inside here. Thank you, Amazon. You're very kind, very generous. So, I found these nice little green straps that we're gonna use for the the Porta-Hooty? I don't know. So I found these green straps that we're gonna use for the Porta-Hooty. I'm gonna measure these out and make sure I can cut the right size slits into the model so we can actually wear this thing. And I think these these already come with the clips. And it's just like the clip and the whole strap. So you have to like loop it around and then cut it to size. And we have 4 of them, so if we mess up, that'll be fun. So I'm going to hold on to these until we got the Porta-Hooty printed, which we really have to do soon. So now I'll just go over a few design things of the Porta-Hooty. Although I'm not going to do that right now as of recording this. I got to go to bed. So MT, when you're reviewing this video, please remember that you need to show our audience the design of our Porta-Hooty. Thank you. Oh, geez. Okay, MT, I'll remember. Alright, so I gotta explain the design of the Porta-Hooty because there's a lot that went into it. I tried a few different things. I tried to see if I could just get the shape of it and hollow it out or something, and some things just were not working. So I went ahead and I figured out how to design this. So it's just these walls, and they just come out like that, and it's all in parts. I needed to print in pieces. So I moved on to this. This is just the progression of the design, and I started adding the drawer and figuring out how the drawer was going to attach and everything. So you can kind of see the design kind of starting to formulate here, and I ended up here. I started adding all the rest of the decals and everything needed. And now we're just kind of over here. I will run through the design. It's pretty simple. It looks complicated, and it is a lot, but it's not too bad. It's pretty good. Pretty good design-wise. I'm gonna show it through here, through this blown-up version, where all the parts, all the pieces are different. So let's start at the top here. We got the decals. We got that little weird gray thing that's at the top of the Porta-Hooty. I'll put an image up so you know what I'm talking about. The little heart. This is the front wall, and I'm gonna print it in these 5 pieces just to make things easy. So that's pretty neat. That works out. It slices pretty well, and the decals they should be okay. They should fit on there. Here's the back wall with little slits for the strap to go through. I'm gonna really have to use my Gorilla Glue for this to really hold it together. I'm probably gonna have to do that for the entire Porta-Hooty. Here is the roof. Well, here are the walls actually. I only added divots for the back wall because I want that extra strength. I want there to be some good strength for the back. The front doesn't really matter. It's okay. It'll be fine. Here's the roof. I gotta print it in 2 parts, and it has these little divots that come out, so it doesn't like slide off, and it kind of stays within the inside of the structure. But you can pop it off, so you can put stuff inside it. Here is the drawer with the knob. This will go in here. This is the base of it, and the drawer will just kind of slide in. It has these little holes here, so it will catch and not really like slide out. Unless there's something in there that's too heavy, maybe it will, but there's a fail-safe. I have these little things here to make sure it doesn't, fully come out. It'll catch on the sides of the doorway. So I'm going to print the base, and then the drawer will slide right in, and then I can put on the front wall to keep it in there. Let's see, let me just put that back. And then you have this little thing. This is the base on the inside, so it kind of separates the drawer area from the actual storage area inside the Porta-Hooty. Because obviously, I would not just have all this void space to just not make it, be able to hold stuff. Like I cannot just not make this a storage unit. So it's gonna be great. The drawer is gonna be useful. It's gonna be able to hold stuff, and within the main part of the Porta-Hooty, you'll be able to take the roof off, and it'll act as a sort of mini backpack for light things because it is 3D printed. It might not be that strong. We'll see. We're just gonna print it and see. Otherwise, it's a nice little prop to have. It's compatible with the Hooty I've built. So I'll be able to put all Hooty faces that I make onto the Porta-Hooty, and it's great. I'm proud of it. Let's go ahead and get this thing printing while everything is done. I don't usually try and have super serious moments on this channel. I usually try and keep an upbeat tempo. I try and keep things fun and enthusiastic for my channel as best as I can. But not to the point of those, very ADHD YouTubers who will shout everything they say and they'll put up big flashing subtitles on the screen. God, I hate those. They're so obnoxious. But I'm a little pissed. I'm a little mad. I'm a little disappointed. But I'm okay. I'm trying to get through it. Let me explain what happened. So, as luck would have it, yesterday, on Friday the 13th, because of course this would happen, we suffered through a power outage due to some heavy windstorms that we've been having. And our power got knocked out for quite a few hours. Luckily, not in between prints. Unluckily, while I was trying to record the next update on the Porta-Hooty, I'll get to that. So our power goes out, later comes back, quite a few hours later, but our internet connection does not. Surprise, surprise, our router gets absolutely fried, and we had to get a new one. And on top of that, we got a new one, but we couldn't properly install it or set it up because our internet provider was still out. And it was out, for the rest of the day yesterday and most of the day today. Today, as of recording this, I am currently home after coming back from, guess what? The convention! So, I already went. I couldn't finish the Porta-Hooty, but I did take the Owlbert staff. I'll talk about the convention in a bit, and the Owlbert staff. But when the power went out, I was milliseconds away from clicking save after recording the update that I was trying to record, and oh gosh, sorry. I'm sorry if I'm a little incoherent. I'm probably not. It's just I am fried from this. It's I don't know why it feels like a bigger deal than it is. It's not a big deal. I think mostly I'm annoyed by the fact that I got this drawer finished. I got the Porta-Hooty drawer. It's printed and it's great. It's perfect. I don't remember everything I wanted to say about it, but it's done. Let's leave it at that. However, when I first filmed this update video, I had the support still in, and these were in here like that, and it popped out so nicely. And then these supports were still in. It was like this, and I clicked it out, and it just popped out so cleanly. And I don't know if I have an OCD thing or something. I don't have bad OCD, but I might have some sort of little bit of OCD, because it was so annoying to have lost that nice video of me just popping this out so cleanly, and I got it on video. It was so nice. It was so satisfying. Jeez, don't fall. And I lost it. I tried some MP4 repairs because I do have the MP4 file. It's just corrupted, and I tried to repair it and it won't repair. So I'm here recording this instead. But hey, there's an update. There's the update. I'm getting it recorded. Here is the drawer. That's done. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. Actually, before that, I started printing the back wall. It's a little misaligned. But and there's some quality issues, but I'll fix that with my Dremel and some sanding. That's totally alright. And I was gonna print the sides of the wall, but this drawer took 6 hours to print, and I was gonna be at school the day that I printed, So I decided to just print this during school, and I actually got lucky because my second class got canceled, so I was able to come home and this finished printing way earlier than I expected. So at least that's cool, but I was not able to keep printing. I was not able to keep working on Porta-Hooty. I could not take it to the convention. Which is, I don't know, it's a little annoying because, I don't know, I wanted to take this thing to the convention and show it off like I'm doing here on the internet. The thing is, at a convention, a lot more people tend to see it than online. I don't let the small audience on YouTube bother me. What matters to me most is I'm having fun with this. There's a lot of time and effort and money that's going into this, despite the fact that only few people are gonna see it, and it's probably gonna just sit in the corner of my room for a while until I actually use it or find something to do with it. But I want to see it through. It's an interesting project. It's a nice fan build. I want to see it through. It's really fun, and that's what matters to me most. So I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep working on it. I'm gonna finish it. I already used up so much filament for this, and for this was this one was like a 3-hour, 4-hour build or print. This was like a 4-hour print. This was a 6-hour print because this one printed with all the supports. And there's more. There's still more. There's gonna be so much more. I'm probably gonna use up one of my new spools all the way to its end. But I like it. I like seeing the vision, and most of why at this point, obviously I'm not gonna quit, or at least another reason as to why I'm gonna keep going with this is because my Owlbert staff turned out great, and my Hooties. I actually started printing Hooty. Printing? Did I say printing? Painting. I actually started painting Hooty. And one of his faces, too. Or one of his expressions, So this is turning out great. And I love it. And it makes me want to see everything through. It makes me want to see Porta-Hooty come to life and be real. As real as these are. And here's Owlbert. Fresh from the convention. The hot glue worked like a charm, except over here. I don't know if I think I just didn't apply it right. Or maybe I don't think I let it sit for long enough. I think it was the Gorilla Glue said it was able to hold things together pretty well 2 hours after being applied, but it would be fully cured within 24 hours. I took this thing to the convention well under those 24 hours. But it's okay. I had tape with me as a failsafe. The blue ribbon here is from the props check at the convention, because I didn't want to get in trouble, and I want to check it and make sure it's fine. It was cool, and a lot of people liked it. Some people made some comments on it. But let's. I'm gonna give you guys a good look at Owlbert here. The staff is great. I'll fix that later. I don't know where to set it. I finished painting Owlbert, and it looks great. He looks amazing. Maybe there's some little tiny touch-ups that could still happen, but whatever. And it just looks so good. And the matte paint that I got worked really well. I'm happy. I'm okay. I'm a little disappointed still, but with how good this turned out, with how good the Hooty faces are looking, with how good the staff stayed together for me, I can't complain. And you know what? I'm gonna go to other conventions, so I can build the Porta-Hooty for the next time that I attend a cool fan event. So now I can talk about the convention. I should probably mention off the bat that one reason I'm really upset that I couldn't finish the Porta-Hooty is because I found out there was an Owl House themed event at the convention, and it would have been awesome to bring Porta-Hooty, but at least I got to bring Owlbert, and all the people there loved it, so that's cool. Gosh, I might be a bit of an attention whore. Why do the artists at the convention even apply to be at a convention and sell their art? Because they're making cool stuff, and they want the attention. They want people to see what they do, and I think that's why I get I guess, rather emotionally rattled over these kinds of things. But it went well. I'm happy. Owlbert was loved. Quite a few people recognized him. There's kind of a humorous irony to the fact that I was so worried that I wasn't going to get this done. And then I find out there's an Owl House themed event going on at the convention. I think what it is that the Porta-Hooty is objectively more impressive than Owlbert because of all the features that I planned for it. I mean, the working drawer, the storage compartment, the Hooty face, like, and the fact that, I bought straps for it, right? It's actually going to go over my shoulders and everything. I think I was so excited to show off such a grand project that's why I'm upset that they couldn't finish it. But it was beyond my control. It was because of the whole power outage and everything. So whatever. I'm still happy with the experience. I'll go off topic here, and I want to talk about the convention and how well that went. I don't mind just flat out saying, well, what convention did you go to, MT? Huh? Where did you go? You know where I went? I went to Fan Expo Cleveland, and it's amazing. I love it. I love going. I think I've gone for the past of 3 years, maybe. I think this was my third year attending. I don't know. I have talked about it before on the channel. I almost forgot. On Empty Creations 3 years ago, there's this little short mini series that I created called The Best Week Ever, where I detail the best week of my life. And I went to Great Wolf Lodge with my friends, and I went to see They Might Be Giants with my dad. And then I went to the Fan Expo in Cleveland for the first time, and I met Peter Cullen, the voice actor of Optimus Prime, and a bunch of other people, and it was awesome. Fan Expo Cleveland, so much fun. This time, not a lot of interesting people to meet. To me, not a lot of celebrities that I was interested went. Well, there was Dean Norris. He plays Hank on Breaking Bad. I love that show. But, well, anyway, and the people I was most interested in meeting were James Marsters. He plays Spike the Vampire on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And William Shatner, who is the great Captain James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise from Star Trek, the original series. And I love the show. And I love William Shatner's overacting. So good. So great. So James Marsters played Spike of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I went as Spike for Halloween 2 years ago, and my girlfriend went as Buffy. I had this image of my girlfriend as Buffy slaying me as Spike. And there was another convention. I think it might have been GalaxyCon in Columbus, Ohio. I've been to that twice, I think. James Marsters went to one of those GalaxyCons, and I wasn't able to get in line. The line was so big, I wasn't able to get a signature from him, and I had this picture prepared and everything. So I found a Buffy comic illustrator, and I got his signature on it. And then James Marsters came back to another convention, so I had to get his. So I did that. I got this. And then on the other side, so, Owlbert, I'm going to cover a face-up because I don't know if they'll consent to being in one of my videos. I don't know. I want to respect some privacy here, so I'm going to cover a face-up here. I took this picture with my girlfriend, her dad, and William Shatner, and it's this hilarious, incredibly awkward photo because we didn't even talk to him. We were just like shoved behind him. They snapped the picture, and then we were just shooed away. And we didn't even get to interact with him, and it was such a weird, awkward experience with William Shatner. And then he came to Fan Expo Cleveland this year, and I'm like, I need to get this signed. I think that would be hysterical. So I have this kind of crusty JPEG that was all I had of this image. I got it printed. And I took it to the convention, and I had William Shatner sign it. So now, one of my favorite images ever. I just love how awkward it is. It's so funny. It's one of my favorite images that I own. It's funny because for James Marsters, I went up and I got to ask him a question. I got to tell him about this I asked him a question. I asked him if there was anything on the show that he wished they would have done differently for his character. And I'm not gonna explain what he said, but he told me, and it was like a nice interaction. It was like very genuine, very a lot of people forget that celebrities are people. I don't understand how people can treat celebrities like they're just something else. I went up to him, and it was just casual conversation. I asked him a question about the show, and he answered it. It was like, cool. And he shook my hand twice. It's like a, I don't know, like I met him in a freaking elevator or something. And then I get the signature from William Shatner, and I tell him about like how much I love this incredibly awkward photo. I had to get it signed, and he says, "Oh, that's cool." And then he gives me this very violent old man cough, says thank you, and sends me on my way. I put down quite a few bucks for the William Shatner one, more than it's likely worth. Meanwhile, the James Marsters one, I feel like I could have paid more for that, for what I got from that. But it's whatever. It's a funny memory. It's very silly. I think it's still worth it, even though realistically it wasn't. But I don't know. I had fun. It was great. This convention was great. So I got the signatures that I wanted. And then the rest of it was I went with my sister and my buddy John. You know him. You might know him as Keeper. So I went to this convention with my sister and my good buddy John. You might know him as Keeper or John. He shows up in a lot of MT Creations videos. And we just kind of walked around. John went as Arthur Morgan. Or was it John Marston? He went as a Red Dead Redemption character. A lot of people recognized him. It was funny. I recorded him recreating the jelly beans meme for any Red Dead fans out there that know that. I'll play it here.
Got some jelly beans. You like jelly beans?
It was fun. We just walked around and saw some cool stuff, and I saw the car from Supernatural. I freaking love that show. I saw a body pillow cover of the L Block from Tetris for some reason, and then there was one of Hot Rod next to one of the characters from Doki Doki Literature Club, I think it was. Just silly stuff. Found a lot of silly stuff, and then I went to that Owl House event, and there was like games, and there was trivia, and there was this guy dressed up as Grunkle Stan from Gravity Falls, and he was just heckling the entire event, and he was hysterical. It was so funny. The hosts were dressed up as Ida and Lilith. It was great. It was so much fun, and they liked my Owlbert, and I don't think I could ask for a better experience, honestly. It was really fun. It was really great. I had a great time. So I did it. I went to the convention. So now I'm in a place where I put down quite a lot of money on a couple of signatures. One of them was barely worth it. And dinner's ready. Oh my gosh, one more thing. I completely forgot. I found this little vendor, and they were selling stickers and stuff, and the owner of it knew the Owl House, and they really liked Owlbert, and I showed him a picture of the Hooty faces in progress. So it was awesome. I got to interact with another fan, and they had this sticker of Hooty. So I bought that, and then later on, I don't know if this is just the universe making fun of me or what it is. Then I find this. Would you turn around? Then I find this. Oh my god. How insane would it have been to buy this while I was wearing a replica of it? Whatever. I digress. I love it. I instantly got it because I'm going to figure out a way to attach it to the Porta-Hooty. So, absolutely amazing. The sticker is also going to go on the Porta-Hooty. I'll find a good place for it. So I just wanted to mention that. Pretty cool. Got a good haul. I just printed the base to the Porta-Hooty, and I slid the drawer in. It's got support material inside. It's locked in. Like you can feel it. You can feel. And it holds it. Probably not directly upside down. I don't want to test it too far, but it holds it. It actually, the drawer holds. That's great. That's great. The system that I designed for it works. I has a little trouble finding where the things are, but well, when the wall is down, that's what's gonna actually secure it in place. These are just little safeguards. These are just like rails and to hold up the bottom thing. Alright, this is going well. I have a massive progress report. All the pieces that I need are done and printed, and everything is ready to be put together. I just kind of put everything in a mock-up right now. Like these aren't even glued on yet. Nothing is glued. Nothing is put together. Aside from the drawer, that's just in place, and I screwed the knob on there. So that's like the only thing that's really put together. But everything else needs to be glued and, well, fixed too, because, you know, we have some of those quality issues, and I need to make sure all these are going to fit and stick together. I actually did have some trouble with the roof here. Here. Let me explain. I had quite the fiasco with the roof. So I tried to print it. Oops. I tried to print it all as one piece. And, you know, I had it like this. And I didn't use supports because a unit does overhangs fine. And I know there will be stringing, but the stringing won't matter. These are going to be hidden. And it was fine until it started like warping and being weird. And then it got to the very end of the print. It's not going to focus in on it, but I have no idea what happened here. I don't know what happened. It shifted, and so it failed. Although I actually do know what happened. You know, I had it like this, upright, and this surface area is very small. So naturally it started wobbling on the print bed. I had a unit going slow and everything, and it still was wobbling around, and it messed up the print. Could it have been usable? Maybe, but I didn't want to use it. I wanted the best quality print I could possibly get from it. So then I cut the model in half, and it failed another print. You can see a little ridge here at the top, and it just started warping as well. Like it's supposed to be bent like this, right? It's supposed to bend this way. But this is supposed to be flat. So, that's a problem. So I just ended up using a brim, which is this thin layer of filament that keeps it to the print bed. And so as you can see here, it worked out pretty well. So yeah, I had to split those in half, and now that these are good to go, I can go ahead and start actually putting it together. I wasted so much filament on these, but you know what? This is why I have a scrap bin. Oh geez, I'm sorry, that noise is horrible. Someday it'll be recycled. Alright, we have an update. Gluing has begun, and I have begun gluing these pieces together. I had to use my Dremel a little bit. I'm waiting on these to dry so I can start putting these on. So I'm just going to focus on the back and front panels and get those glued on, and then do the side panels. Well, actually, I might do like all the walls and then stick it on the base. I also got the roof done. I think I need to close this gap with some glue, and maybe I could try and paint it, but I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. I have multiple timers going on for the glue. Do I actually need to add one for the staff? I'm giving them 2 hours to dry, but I do know it's like a 24-hour full cure, but I decided to just time it anyway so I could keep working on gluing the next few pieces after they're dried. Yeah, I'm fixing up the staff, by the way, so I get that done too. After that update, I kind of just locked in. I didn't really document the rest of the gluing process, so I put all the walls together, I glued them to the base, I put all the decals on, and now we have a full build of the Porta-Hooty. I am so happy that I got this build mostly finished. Let me walk you through what I got going so far. Of course, Hooty's face can come off, so you can put other faces on it. So, there we go. Why is my nose all stuffy? Hang on. The drawer in here works absolutely perfectly. And it does not like fall off or fall out on its own. And the best part is that the catch system works perfectly, so if it did slide out, it wouldn't fall all the way out. Hang on. It is a little hard to get the drawer back in, and it makes unpleasant noises, but it works. Did I get it? Maybe? Hang on. It's such a satisfying just click, I love it. And then the roof, well, I will talk more about this during the self-critique portion unless I fix it before then, but the roof gave me some trouble. It looks a little off. Like I had to glue this because it was just, it kept falling apart on me, so maybe I'll look into how I can better that later, but the roof is fine, it works, and you can pop it right off. Inside there's the storage space with the straps. I'll get to that in a second. The interior floor here is loose, pun intended. I decided to keep it this way in case the straps are giving me trouble and I need to adjust them. I don't want them to just be stuck there like that. So this is all loose, and it'll just stay like that. But it's fine. It should be okay. I don't plan on wearing this thing upside down or anything. So then we'll come around back and I'll show the straps that I got going on here. Now there are some issues with the straps and wearing it, but it works anyway. I got it to do what I needed to do. So I'm not really gonna try and fix anything. I think I'm gonna leave it as it is. It's as functional as I need it to be. It's pretty great. I did a test wearing of it. It slants a little bit when it's on my back, but you know what? I can work to minimize that a little bit. I can try and fix that as best as I can, or maybe it's fine the way it is. Because you know what? It's more about the fact that the build is cool than how it looks when someone's wearing it. It's more about just the functionality than looks. Actually, that's not true. The looks are everything. I put in a lot of work to make it look extremely accurate as I possibly can, alongside taking some creative liberties. Like for this little top part here, in the show, it's just 2 little lines, and I didn't know how to really represent that, so I just did this. And Hooty needed to jut out a little bit, so the adapter mechanism would work. I do need to paint the rim here. And I'm still working to make it more accurate. So in the show, after the first episode that the Porta-Hooty appears, the next time the Porta-Hooty appears, there's these little, like, I don't know, stilts or something that appear on the side under the roof like this. So I did print these, and I'm gonna glue them on. And this would be really hard to catch for Owl House fans, but we did get a glimpse of the back of the Porta-Hooty. And it's just this. It's just the back of the door, but attached to the Porta-Hooty. It's very subtle. You only find it in one little tiny clip. I found that, and I didn't plan on adding that because I didn't know that was a thing. I was still binging the Owl House while in the middle of making this, but it's perfect. And I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to go ahead, print it, paint it, glue it on the back. And it can serve as, I don't know, I guess a reinforcement for these seams back here. Even though this entire thing is super sturdy, I mean, it could still come apart. I won't lie. But I did use Gorilla Glue. It should be okay for a while. And it works. Like, you could pick it up. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart. As long as you don't pick it up from the roof, then it'll fall. But it works super well, and I love it so much. The Porta-Hooty is finally fully finished, and I got the open mouth default face done. I actually even had the eye shine on the other side, then I had them on the default one, so it closely matches the original image, of which I put the keychain on one of the straps. That was the best place I could find for it, so it's there now, and it works out pretty well. Unless I find a different way to attach it, but that seems to work right now. So here it is. I'm gonna save the full review of it for the self-critique portion of this video, but I'll go over the basic design. the Porta-Hooty adapter works great. It's hard to do with one hand. You have to do it with two. Here. I painted the rim brown. There's some spots where it kind of came out. I tried to be as careful as I could, but still could not be perfect. But you know what? That's okay. Imperfections are always welcome with every MT Creations Creates build. And here's just the drawer. Oh, I gotta put something in the drawer. Hang on. Hold on. There we go. I'll find a spot for it at some point. But right now it's in there. So the adapter works really well. Let me put it back on. There we go. The roof works great. I finished painting the rest of the Hooty faces that I currently have. And I stuck them in here, and it looks like it fits one more. I think I have, how many? 1, 2, I have 4 of them in there. It looks like it could probably fit a 5th. So that's pretty cool. So let's put that back on there. It does take a little bit of aligning to make sure it sits right. So let's turn it around here. And I have this plastered on the back. I did wear it again to make sure it wouldn't really bother me. And it doesn't. I didn't think it would because it's so flat. But it just kind of completes the look. I know it's different from the source material. We got a very different look of this in this show. But the straps are all the way off to the sides already. And in the show, it looks like it comes out of this. So I don't know. It is what it is. This is one of those big creative liberties I just had to take for this project. But it looks pretty good. And it does show off the blue and the lenses here, because in the actual version of this that's going on the door, the blue won't show. I'm going to make it so you can put images in it here. I'll show that so you can better visualize it here. I made this so you can just put an image inside and, you know, look through it, and maybe there'll be an image of the boiling aisles or something random. Who knows? I'll figure it out later. But this goes on the door, on the back of the door, with Hooty on the other side. And this is actually the same model, just super flattened. And of course, and modified. So, you know, the little compartment wouldn't be a part of it. So I think it looks pretty good. I think it works anyway. I mean, the paint job is also a little weird and rough, but I mean, it's supposed to be to your back anyway, so it doesn't really matter much. It's just a nice detail that I wanted to add anyway. Overall, it's part of the Porta-Hooty. I want this model to be as accurate as I can make it. So I think I did pretty well with that. I think I did pretty good. Like, I've looked up online, and there are some good Porta-Hooty builds, but most of them are very wonky looking. No diss on those creators. They really did their best. I really do love the other Porta-Hooties that people have put together. But in terms of looking proportionately accurate, I think I did pretty okay. I did the best I could. Maybe the roof is a little off, but you know what? It's fine. Yeah, I gotta leave all that for this critique section. I will come back to that later. The build is done. It is complete. It's finished. I don't think there's anything else I want to add other than slapping a sticker on it somewhere. So with that said, we can move on to Hooty's neck and the other variants of Owlbert. Owlbert, of which I have completely fixed, so there's no seams that are loose anymore. Everything is fine. It's a sturdy staff, and he's in top shape. Sorry, that was from clamping the staff together. I showed them in here, but I forgot to actually show off the rest of the Hooty faces that I made. So here they are. I have 5 of them done. Although I do want to do more. I do want to do one of Hooty frantically crying, because he does that a lot in the show, and I think that'd be funny. I also want to do this other face where he's just very disappointed looking, and it's not as popular as these faces, which is why I made these faces. They're just well-known Hooty faces and within the fandom. But there's this one obscure one. I'll have it on the screen now. That made me laugh a lot, and I feel like I need to have that one be an expression for this project. So I'm going to make that one. I'm going to make the frantically crying one, and I think I'm going to add a face of Puppet Hooty from the finale episodes. I think that'd be really cool. No, I will not do a variant of the Porta-Hooty in the puppet design. I'll just do the face. That's too much work. But I think the face will be enough. I love the Puppet Hooty design. It's very interesting, so I am going to do that. I have successfully installed Hooty on my door. It looks amazing, and it's easy to take off. And oh yeah, I don't remember if I showed this yet on the video so far, but I have painted the adapter so it references this particular scene. Very gross, but it was needed, so I did it. And don't mind the arrow, that's just so I remembered which way's up for whenever I deinstall this or, you know, move it or whatever. So this is the important part here. All of his like organs in the door, I decided to reference that. I thought it'd be funny. So he clicks into place pretty nicely. It's pretty sturdy. We'll see how it does when the neck is built and put on. And on the back, we have the back side here really on there nicely. I just have to make the paper with the images that goes on the top. You can switch it out for different things. There'll probably just be images of the boiling isles or maybe a character looking through. So we'll see. I'll figure that out. Hello, MT Creations, from a few months ahead of that clip that you just saw. I know it's pretty needless for me to point that out because you're watching this video and everything's all in one place. Like, the timeline does not matter, but here on MT Creations Creates, it's all about the process. It's all about the progress. So I'm going to note it down anyway that I had quite the time skip from March till, I think it's May 16th right now as of recording this. And gosh, at this point you might see this video in June, but that's okay. I'm just really excited to share another progress update. So You just saw that I installed Hooty on my door. I have the Porta-Hooty all done. All that's left is 3 more Hooty faces, the neck, and a couple things I want to show, but I'm gonna provide all that to you right now. I'm just not gonna explain it all in this format. I want to show it to you. There is quite a bit to go over, so please bear with me. So it's been quite a time skip. I gotta really reorient myself. I mean, I just started focusing more on school, rightfully as I should. Now I'm graduated, so I can get back to this stuff. Last time I left off at finishing these first 5 faces, and I wanted to add 3 more. I wanted to add the frantic crying face, the concerned face, and Puppet Hooty. I'll go over all of these designs with you. These designs are pretty straightforward. I did just want to kind of show off what I did for Puppet Hooty because it takes a different approach. I wanted to show the way his neck looks when he's in puppet form, so I did this little tiny bit. I didn't want to make it too crazy, but I still wanted to represent what you see in the show when Hooty is in puppet mode. So that's that. I think it looks really great. I designed everything for the neck. It's going to work on a very modular system. I had to make 2 adapters so you can plug it into the wall or the Porta-Hooty, and all this is just compatible with each other. And the Porta-Hooty, or I mean the Hooty face, because the Hooty face works on this twist lock system, and I wanted the neck pieces to work on this peg and hole system because I need these to be hollow and super lightweight so it doesn't put any strain on the command strips that hold Hooty to the door, and I don't want to put any strain on the Porta-Hooty either, because if that broke, it would be a lot more difficult to fix. So hopefully these work. I still have yet to test print them. I'm going to test them small and make sure it all works together and it's all good. It should be working. I did a lot of testing already in Blender for this. So I have been using Melanote, which, if you don't know, it's this really great planning app. I'm not sponsored, by the way, but I just really like this app. It lets you do lists and notes and stuff. You can make mood boards or project planners, and I use it for everything. And I've been using it, of course, for this project, and I made a whole list of the things I want to do to finish off this whole Hooty project. And one of the things I wanted to do, aside from the final 3 faces, excluding everything I've already done, this is for everything else. This list is to finish up the rest of the whole project. So excluding everything I've already done to finish up this project, I still need to print Hooty's neck. I might do Owlbert variants. It's a lot of extra stuff to print, so I don't know if I'll leave that for a part 2 or whatever. I don't know yet. I modeled Ida's hand. I wanted to make a holder for the staff, and what better way than to... Oh geez, sorry, this is in the way. And what better way to make a staff holder than with a model of Ida's detached hand? Because if you know the Owl House, you know that her limbs can detach or hands can come off, and I thought this was a very nice reference to the show and would be very functional to kind of just keep the staff upright or just to display it nicely. So there's Ida's hand. I went through quite the process to make this. Well, first I started with the basic blocking in the shapes, and then I went down to sculpting it, and I added the nails, and I had the armature, I posed it, and then I added extra details to the final thing. The thumb looks a little wonky, the fingers do a little as well, but you know what, I mean, it's just a decoration, it's just something small, it doesn't need to be perfect. Despite all the details that I added into it, I gave her tendons and the wrinkles on her knuckles, and yeah, I thought this would be a great addition, and I can't wait to get this to be a part of the project. She's got a loose grip because I don't I don't want the staff to actually be attached. I want you to be able to just set the staff against the hand coming out of the wall. The whole setup will look more like this. Eat a hand attached to the wall, and you just kind of set the staff against the hand, and it just holds it out nicely instead of having the staff like lean against the wall. So yeah, eat a hand. Here are two of the final Hooty faces ready to be painted. This one needs the supports off. And then we have this monstrosity finished printing today. And this is why I decided to start up the updates again, is because I finished printing this, and it came out really well. So there we have it. We have the final 3 Hooty faces. This one is insane. This one took like 8 hours or so to print. It took so long, but it looks amazing, and I can't wait to test it out on the door. So let's get these 2 unwrapped and see how they handle. Well, it works. And I don't think it's not too heavy for the door. I really hope when I make the neck, it'll be light enough to not like tear this thing off the door, but we'll see. I have ideas for solutions in case failure happens, but oh my gosh, it looks great. It's a really nice variant to the faces so far. I just gotta paint it. Ida's hand has finished printing. I'm gonna have to be very careful in the way I take the supports off the nails because they are very thin and possibly delicate. Like, look at the thumbnail. It's beautiful. Ida's grotesquely long Slay Queen nails. Here's a proper test of how the hand will work. It'll just go up on the wall. Either height works. I mean, it could go down here, it could go up here. I measured it so it could be held like up at the top. We can really have it there, but yeah. Owlbert staff leans on it. This just comes out of the wall. I'm surprised I didn't break any of the nails taking the supports off. It was actually fine. And yeah, so this thing makes a great back scratcher, and it'll make a great staff holder. But we gotta paint those nails. Now that we have Ida's hand out of the way and the last 3 Hooty faces printed, we can start worrying about what we're gonna do for the neck, which I'm gonna have printing while I paint the other stuff. First though, before we print the neck pieces at full size, I really need to test them at a smaller scale. So here we have some of the neck pieces printed at a small scale, and I got both adapters as well. I don't think the adapters will work at such a small scale, but I already know that those designs do work, so you know I don't need to actually test them. What I'm really worried about is this peg and hole system that'll like connect the neck pieces. Seems like the small scale is too wonky to let these pegs go in these holes. That's what she said. I did give enough space, tolerance. I did give enough tolerance. So, I mean, it should work. I just really want to make sure it does. Printing this wasn't a waste, though, because I get to just kind of visualize how this whole thing will work. And I realized that these only attach in a certain specific orientation. Like, they have to attach like this. They can't attach like this. And that worried me for a second until I realized that it will all attach to the same little thing that is on the back of the Hooty faces. If I wanted to, I could put Hooty on my door sideways or upside down. So, like, imagine this is coming out of the door and I want to add this piece to it, right? Maybe I want it to go off to the side, but when I put it on, it only goes down. I could just, like, you know, hold on, sorry. Here's the adapter. It goes in onto the other adapter on the door, right? So, like, attaches Imagine the door's here, right? And oh shoot, this goes downwards. So you can just like remove this and turn it and reinstall it onto that probably is not the best way to show off what I'm trying to visualize. That I'll show it to you when we get there. At a small scale, it's just not working well, but this is just a visualizer to see how it'll. Anyway, so I really have to make sure that the peg and hole system will work. So let's print just the peg and hole at full size. So here we go. Here is the peg. Here's the hole. Make your innuendos on your own time. Ooh, that was a nice little chirp. Okay, good. It's got, I'll be honest, I ballparked the tolerance so it would have that friction fit. Because, you know, I mean, sorry. I do want the ability for you to, like, maybe have this going downwards. And you put on the Hooty face. I don't want it to slide out. So I made sure to build in some friction so it works. Oh, it works really well. That wasn't a pleasant sound. But when it comes to 3D printing, the layer lines don't make pleasant sounds for things like these. So that's that. That works. I'm just gonna go for it and print these pieces full size. I'm going to start with just the adapters and the straight neck piece and go on from there. Because if that works, then I'll go ahead print the other like pieces. I made like a 45-degree angle neck piece, and I think I made a 90-degree angle neck piece. We'll see how it works out first. So, okay. It is 4 a.m. by the way. I'm going to bed. Good night. I forgot to turn my computer off. The way the supports are coming off of this are just great. Like, it's just all coming off in one big chunk. Almost have it. Boom. There we go. Get my wallet out of the shot. There we go. Boom. Support pizza. I've run into a bit of an issue, so I was testing the pegs on the holes here for the. These are the adapters that'll connect the actual neck pieces from the door or Porta-Hooty to the faces. You can see how this is supposed to connect to the door or Porta-Hooty, and this is what you put the faces on. We lost the peg during testing. This took me like 6 hours to print. I had to slow Ayuna down during the supports for this, and it took so long and it broke during testing. But as you can tell by my laughing at it, it's not a huge deal. It's not a huge disappointment. There are 3 pegs left, and I could always try and glue it. But there is disappointment in the fact that it doesn't fit as it should. But I have a Dremel, and I'm not afraid to use it. So I just will. I'll just use the Dremel and make sure it can get it to fit better. And we'll just go on from there. Maybe I could do something creative with this little peg, and I could put a little face on it or something. I don't know. We'll see. I'm using my Dremel to try and get these pegs to fit into these holes. So far, so good. I'm testing with the broken one. I'm just kind of shaving it down as best as I can, so there's still enough friction, but not too much so it'll rip the pegs right off when I try and take the parts apart. So if this works, I'll just shave the pegs on the other piece. But it's working well. It's creating a mess, but it's working super well, and I'm just gonna keep at it and see where this goes. Everything's working super well. What I do is just kind of shave one of these pegs, and I test it on this by just kind of like trying it on each hole to make sure it works. Well, it's hard to do it with one hand, but like that's just a process I've been doing, is shaving it, testing it, and I got 2 more pegs to go. And this will be fine with just 3 pegs. Like it's gonna work the same. It doesn't really matter, and I'm not actually really even peeved about it at all. So I'm just gonna keep working, and if I get it to work well, then we'll start printing the actual neck pieces. Sorry, all the background noise. My sister invited her friends. here's the test. It works. These are both adapters. They're just together right now, but the neck pieces will go between that, and it will come out of the door, and it works like that. It's perfect. Yippee! I have no idea how, but somehow Ayuna managed to wiggle herself out of place while printing. I've never seen her do this before. I'm probably gonna have to tape her down at the bottom or something, because oh my god. Ayuna, you need to chill out, girl. Alright, there we go. I kinda just scooted her back while she's printing. That's where she's supposed to be. Oh my goodness, she's a rascal. I love personifying this thing. It's just fun. I got it to work. I got the neck piece to work with the adapters, and it all fits. This looks amazing. It just needs to be painted. Oh my goodness. It works. All that's needed is one of the 90-degree pieces or one of the 45-degree pieces. So as you're coming up the hallway, you can see him look at you as you walk by. There is a bit of an issue. It does kind of put a little bit of stress on this piece and on the command strips, but I have a solution. That would be bad if that fell and broke. Careful. But I have a solution. I'm gonna use this and hopefully kind of stabilize this. I don't know if you can see it on video or not. Let me get better in the light. I don't know if you can see it well in the video, but when this gets moved, this back part is so thin that it could get ripped, essentially. It could basically be ripped off if too much weight was on it. So I think I'm gonna distribute the holding of this a little better in a way so it can't really actually be torn off. So although if this piece does break, it's not an issue. I'll redesign it, I can repaint it, and yeah. But it works. Oh my goodness. It's gonna look so good when it's painted. I can't wait. If anything, if the door doesn't work as well, Hooty is a lot more stable off the Porta-Hooty with the neck attachment. But we'll keep experimenting, we'll keep playing around, and we'll see how it ends up. I've ran into a bit of a dilemma, but don't worry, I'll explain. I put a whole schizo board together so you won't be confused. The dilemma is that I want to print one more neck piece. The 90-degree one will take 326.08 grams of filament to print, and the 45-degree angle one will take 164.70 grams of filament to print. I currently only have one spool of white filament left, and it has about 191.89 grams of filament left. This means there's not enough for the 90-degree one, and the 45-degree one will only leave about 27.19 grams of filament left. And with the amount of printing that I do, that's a very little amount. I'll need another spool to kind of have on hand for when this one runs out. So I'll have to buy more. Last time I bought spools, I could only afford one spool, so I only had just the one white spool. Usually I do Bamboo's bundle deal, and it costs around $70 for 4 spools, and it saves me quite a bit of money bundling it. Right now, Bamboo Lab offers $71.47 for 4 spools, but $50 for 2 in case I wanted to do less. And if I wanted to do only 1 spool, again, it'd be $19, but with shipping, it brought me up to like 30 bucks. I don't want to get just one again because it's cheaper to get the bundle in the sense that it's more material for less money. I currently have $214 at my disposal. I already owe my savings back a lot of money, so I don't want to take any more from there. I will DoorDash more to earn, and I'm still applying to places for a summer job. Although most of that money that I have, I do still need for gas, so I can DoorDash and drive places. So, if I bought 4 spools right now, I'd have $142.72, and I calculated it right here. But crap! While making this very schizo board, I just got charged for the mapping unit server's monthly fees, and I now have $202 left. So now subtracting $11.30, which is the cost of the monthly subscription for the mapping unit server. If I bought the spools now, I would have $131.42 as opposed to the previous $142.72. So will it still be worth it? Well, after having $131, I'll still need to worry about spending it on gas. I usually spend $25 to $30 on gas because a full tank in the USA of A is reserved for people who are better financially off than me. However, I can DoorDash, and I opened up commissions for my friends. Connor became my first customer upon reopening because I closed them off a while back to focus on my Etsy stuff, and now I'm back to offering stuff, and he put in an order. So if commissions are gonna pop off, maybe I'll be fine. I can make up enough money to keep my car on its wheels and be able to DoorDash the money that I need back up and kind of just recover from a $72 payment. So it's cutting it close. 131 is not a lot, but I think I can manage. So you know what? Maybe we're fine. Let's get those spools. Picking out some spools right now, and I realized that I don't think I showed this on the channel yet. This is a little tracker to remind me of what kind of filament or what colors of filament I need to buy next. As you can see, it's 2 white spools, a blue and a brown. Although I think I'm gonna get a red instead because I might need that to make more of these racks. So I'm gonna switch the brown out for a red. I have a little box in there that has these little rectangles in different colors, or in all the colors of the filament that I have. And it's just a way to remind myself, a physical reminder. And I just drop them in here, and it just tells me, hey, we need more of these filaments. I'm really close to running out of blue. I might need some green soon. I already have another gold somewhere, and I think I have another black. So I do have some filaments that have been replenished already. I just have not opened them yet. For this instance, I think I'm gonna go for blue, red, and white because despite the fact that my brown is running low, I don't know what I'll use it for next, so I might as well get something that I might actually use more often. Now that I've purchased the spools that I will need, I could just bloop. And let's see, I got the red instead of the brown, so I'm keeping the brown. Let's see. So we have more blue coming. Maybe we need some more green. So we got our green. Actually, I forgot I could stand that up and it's fine. Got more green. Bloop. I have a black waiting to be opened. I already have a new gold. I have a new beige. So usually in that situation, when I only have like 2 colors that need replenished next, I just resort to 2 more spools of white filament. Cannot go wrong with that. That's the filament I use the most out of any other. And there we go. So next time that I can afford to buy more spools, I'll just get 2 more white filament spools, a green and brown, and I got some colors that are already good to go. So Yeah, this is how I keep track. It's unnecessary, but 3D printing is fun in the way that you could just make little stuff like this. And it's just cool. It's cool to have, and it's cool to make. Might as well. And this works. I designed this so it would work with the racks. The rack designs are not mine. I downloaded those off the internet, but I put them in Blender and I designed this off the rack so it would work with them. So it's just cool to have. It's a nice reminder. So next time I'm ready to just buy a few spools, I could just look over here and realize, oh, I need 2 white, green, brown, click, and boom, and then the spools will come and I can use them and stuff, and you get the picture. I have more red coming, so I will be trying to get more of the stack done, and sometime I'll have to clear all this off so I can start yet another tower, and I can buy new colors that I do not yet have, but I do want. This hobby is insane. While waiting for my new filament to arrive, I went to visit my papa for Memorial Day weekend. I took that weekend of leisure to finally sit down and work on some art for the project. I got most of the work done on a portion that I cannot show you just yet. You'll have to wait till the end of the video. But the other thing was that in the show, there's this really funny, scary looking poster of Hooty. I just had to give my Porta-Hooty a copy, so I recreated it in my own style, printed it out, and now Hooty has his own wanted poster. After Memorial Day weekend, the filament arrived, and I could get right back to work. I have let myself do a lot of great work off camera, and I got so much done. I painted the neck pieces, the last 3 faces that I needed, and I got the Hooty project to a place where, honestly, I can just call it done for now. I'll let some pictures play here so you can see a teaser of the finished product as it stands right now. There are still a couple of things needed for the project as of recording this, but I think it is photo time. This project has been quite the journey, and I couldn't ask for anything different. Maybe I did let it get way too ambitious compared to what the original idea was. It was so simple. It started with just this. And then I was like, oh, I should build the Porta-Hooty. And then I was like, oh, I should build the Owlbert staff. And it went on from there. And I just let myself get carried away. And you know what? It worked out in the end. It's great. And it's crazy because I only reached a stopping point. Like, I'm just done working on it. But the whole project itself isn't 100% finished. I think I should stop it now because it's just been months that I've been working at it. Literally at the start of this project, I was still calling my fiance my girlfriend, and I got engaged to her during the middle of this project, and now at the end of this video, I'm calling her my fiance, and at the beginning of the video, I was calling her my girlfriend. That kind of gives a sense of just how much dedication, how much time I've been putting into this. And for no good reason, too. The Owl House ended, like, how many years ago was it? Again, it was so long ago, but you know, I guess it is still relevant. There's that new comic that Dana Terrace put out, which I might actually buy. I mean, am I dedicated enough of a Owl House fan? Probably. There might be some faces that I could have done, snuck in other little details or whatever, but I think I'm just gonna call it done here. And if there is a part 2, then so be it. And if there isn't, then I'm just gonna let things play out as they do. Maybe that's it. Maybe I actually won't touch this project ever again. But who knows? We'll see. I'm just at a spot where I'm super happy with what it is already, despite everything that I planned and talked about at the beginning of this video that I didn't end up doing. Namely, sorry, I have it noted down here. Namely, the Owlbert variants. I wanted to do different things for Owlbert. I gave him the ability to screw off the top of the staff, and I wanted to make other variants where like he has his wings spread out and maybe his eyes are open and other things from the show that I could do. Because I love clearly, as you can see, I love the idea of switch outs, and I didn't want it to only apply to Hooty here. I wanted Owlbert to be able to be customizable as well. I had the idea of trying to do a little stop motion animation with Hooty, but I mean, you already saw what I was able to do with the video that you're watching, so I think I'm just going to call it good there. One thing I might actually come back to this project for is to fix the sturdiness of the neck and the strength of the adapter, because I realized I can get some stronger filament, and I can put like a little ring around here on the outside without it disturbing any part of it. Improving the sturdiness of the adapter on both the Porta-Hooty and on the door is something I might come back for sometime in the near future, just to have that done. But everything else, I'm just gonna leave it out in the open. I might do it, I might not. I'm really happy with what I have, and it's just super cool, and I hope you guys, Owl House fans or not, still enjoy this project and still enjoyed watching this video. I think it's time for a proper showcase. So without further ado, I'm going to show you the entirety of my Owl House Hooty project. First things first, of course, we have Hooty at the door. This is where the idea started. It started with just doing this, and the idea that you can grab, twist, switch out the faces. And it's super simple, it's super easy. You just line it up, click, and it just sits in place. And I have a good wide variety of faces to put on this thing. I think I covered some good iconic faces that were definitely needed for this project. And of course, on the adapter, I had to include a reference to that very grotesque scene when Hooty transferred over to the Porta-Hooty from the door, because why not? So let's put the face back on, and I will show you the back. Here we have the back of Hooty, the peephole, so you can see outside, and outside you can see the boiling aisles from the view of the front door of the owl house. For this video, I kind of skipped the making of this because honestly, it's a little awkward and it just didn't come out as good as I thought it would be. So here it is as it is. I think this is just how it's gonna be. But it's not as good as I intended it to be, but it's a really nice added feature. And I don't think the front of Hooty is complete without the back. Over here, I know it's not Hooty, but it is Owl House related. This was just an extra project to go with Hooty, and it's the Owlbert staff, and it is really tall. Excuse the mess over there. I'm a little disorganized. And this little ribbon, this is just from the convention that I took Owlbert to. Not much to Owlbert other than the fact that it actually screws off. I intended to make variants, but I decided to just leave that idea out for now and come back to it some other time. So here's Owlbert, and it's in his great glory. He actually fell over, so there are some scuff marks, but honestly, it ages him. It gives him some life, so I don't mind it, and I'm not going to paint over it. The bottom of Owlbert does mimic how it is in the show with the unique talisman key. He's going to screw it back on there, and boom. And this thing is supposedly life-size, like actually accurate to the show. Like I found the measurement from the show and went off of that, and this is how tall he is. As an added Easter egg bonus feature, we have Ida's hand detached as it naturally does in the show, coming out of the wall, holding the Owlbert staff. And I love how it turned out, and it's pretty sturdy. I actually went through 2 different ways to mount it to the wall, and the best I could do was a command strip, which it does show, but you know what? It works. That's what's important to me, and there's the Owlbert staff. Last but not least, we have the main attraction of the project, the Porta-Hooty itself. So I love how it turned out. It's pretty well proportional to how it looks in the show, and you got this keychain that I got at the convention, and it's a very nice like on-site reference of what the Porta-Hooty looks like in the show and versus what it looks like in real life here. So it's got its iconic red roof, and it's got these little decals, the heart and the little swirls, and of course Hooty's face right in the middle. And it also works on the adapter system, so you can switch out the faces. But I like keeping this face on the Porta-Hooty most of the time because it's the same face that's in the original image. You can kind of see the resemblance there. So before I run through all the features, I'm just gonna run you through the outside of it. In the back here, we have where the straps are and the back of the Porta-Hooty. It doesn't look completely show accurate because when I was building this, I was still binging the show, and it wasn't until later that I saw the shot in the show that we got of the back of the Porta-Hooty. I did this anyway. This is the best I could do for it, and I think it looks great. So there we go. And the straps, they work and they fit fine, and this thing is able to actually be carried around, and super cool. And it's actually pretty comfy. So now we can lift the roof off because, of course, it is also a storage compartment. And a lot of these faces actually fit in here. Maybe like 4 or 5 can be squeezed into here. And I also have the Wanted poster that I made. Wanted Tube Demon Bird. So Hooty has a copy of his own Wanted poster, and you can just fit anything in there. You can put the rest of these faces inside as so. And that clicks nicely into place. And then the coolest feature here is this drawer that actually works because the Porta-Hooty has a drawer. So naturally, this thing needed a working drawer. And inside, I have some glyphs. I gotta be careful not to tap them or they'll activate. And I also got this Hooty sticker that I bought at the convention that I got that keychain at. I still gotta find a good spot for it. I'm not sure where this will go yet, but for right now, it's a nice thing to have in the drawer along with these glyphs. And maybe later down the line, I'll find some more Owl House artifacts to put in there. And it's just, whoop, clicks into place. It's very nice and like sturdy, like it'll stay where it's at. It's got like this kind of like spring-loaded thing going on. And yeah, that's the Porta-Hooty. And the very last thing here, of course, is the neck. It's all modular. It works with the faces and the adapters, and then it works within itself. And if I were to make more neck pieces, it would just all work in a linear way. But the only thing is, it's a little too heavy to use all of the pieces at once, but it does work if you use like one or the other on its own. Maybe someday I will come up with a way to make things a little sturdier, but that's the neck pieces. They work really well for what they're supposed to do, and you just can't have Hooty if he doesn't elongate. So, boom, the tube demon bird's tube. With everything properly showcased, we can now go through this whole project and give it that good old self-critique. All right, finally, time for self-critique. This is a segment where I love pointing out the flaws of my project, and then I just basically say the good and the bad things about it. Point out stuff that could be improved on or something that could be thought about differently for future projects. And then I just kind of talk about what I love about the project, just kind of glaze the whole thing. Now, obviously, some of these points I've made in the video because I've grown so impressed with this project as I was making it. I couldn't help but make some comments that were better left reserved for this segment of the video. So I'm sorry if anything's repeated, but this is the segment to do that. So let's head right into it. So first off the bat, that I want to mention is this weird little gap that's always left when the Hooty phases are on. Like it doesn't, I don't know. It's like, it doesn't hug this as best as it could. And I think it's because, if I take this off, I think it's because these little things are shorter. Yeah, this is shorter here, and this is a fault of the model that I didn't set it right before I printed it, and it just prints how it does. Maybe there's a solution to that someday that I can figure out, but for the moment, it just is what it is. It's just gonna be this way. But it's okay because it's not that noticeable. Like, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. It's Hooty, you know? Like, you look at this thing, you're like, oh my gosh, it's the Porta-Hooty, and I don't know, it's such a minuscule thing. Although, there's one cosmetic flaw that I definitely have to go back in and fix at some point anyway. And this is something that I should regard for future things, is how I tackle stuff like this, where like these flat parts need to go together. I mean, this huge seam is kind of unavoidable. You've seen it earlier in the video, how I was struggling with how I was printing the roof and everything. So this just had to be here. Same with, you know, all the other seams on the build. That's just natural to the way this whole thing was just put together. Like, I only have so much bed space on my 3D printer. But the main issue with the roof is the top seam here. I mean, I think I did try Gorilla Glue, and it just did not work. I couldn't clamp it together well, and I had to use hot glue, and it's a mess. You could see it seeping out here, and it's not that sturdy. Like, I cannot pick this up by one side. You can see how it's like, you know, I don't want to do that. So the best thing the only way that I can safely take the roof off is by grabbing it like this and setting it on its side. I don't even want to set it upright when I'm not using it. So that is a problem, but it is a fixable problem, and one that I will actually go back in and fix at some point, especially before convention use, because I do not want that roof falling apart on me while I'm actively using it in the public. So for those of you that might want to point out about the roof, this will be fixed. And I know I usually say this at the end of these segments, but if you have your own feedback, anything that you want to point out that I don't cover regarding anything, please feel free to constructively critique me. I don't care. I like hearing that stuff. I love feedback. I thrive on it. It's like the best thing ever that anyone could have as an artist, is someone who appreciates your work enough to say something about it, regardless of if it's criticism or, you know, saying, oh, I like this thing. This is something that it's so obvious of a problem, but I will fix that someday. I just don't care about it right now because it works as it does right now, so it's not a huge issue. I will go over all the faces later on, and I probably don't have to point out every single tiny little thing, but it's me. I will anyway. because I just notice things and I talk about it. So this poster, this poster can go out of the way. There's a little bit of a misprint on the poster, but that's not my fault. That's because the printer's the way it is. So maybe design-wise, these things being angled, I thought it was cool because it follows the contour of the roof, but it doesn't. It kind of complicated things a little bit, I guess, maintenance-wise or usability-wise. Even though it does have the good use of providing some friction, so it doesn't just like keep sliding around. But the plastic already does that enough, so I don't know. That's just one thing to consider, is that maybe these should have been straight and it would have worked fine. But at the same time, I like the look of how it is this way, and you know. This board is still loose. That's not a problem. That is actually a helpful thing. I'm just pointing that out because I didn't point that out during the showcase. Oh, okay. I guess one issue is it's hard to put it back in with the straps where they are, but the way it's designed, it just has to be this way. I just have to deal with the little nuances because this is just the way it was designed. This is the way it worked. If you guys come up with like a cool idea of how it could have been done, I'd love to hear it. I don't think there's anything else really that particularly worries me. I know the seams look a little off and stuff, and like there's some seams that are like more open than others. It seems like, pun intended, it seems like it might be less sturdy than it actually is, but it stays together, so I'm not gonna really worry about it until I have to. So we can put all this back. Let's put this back here. Oh. And boom. Okay. So everything is good. The back of the Porta-Hooty, I think, looks great. Maybe the paint job could have been a little better. There are cases, I'm not going to point out every single thing, but there are some like bits of the painting that could be better on some of these. There is a weird natural thing where some of the faces in color are like lighter and darker than each other. I don't know why. I don't know if that's just in the way I use the paints. Like this beak is a little more orange than this one. It's not something I take the time to fix because, I mean, you're only supposed to view the faces one at a time. It doesn't really matter. The colors are correct on all of them technically, so I'm just gonna keep them as it is. And that's one thing. I will review the faces still separately, but that's just one thing I thought I'd point out, is that sometimes the paint jobs might not be that good, and that's okay because it still looks pretty all right from a distance, so I'm not gonna worry about it too much. Overall, I absolutely am just in love with the Porta-Hooty build, and I hope that you guys, Owl House fans, or maybe even not, will still enjoy this thing and will still appreciate it. This is just a great new piece to my collection of creations, and I'm glad I built it. It sounded like such a stupid, ambitious idea at first, building something that I probably will barely use, but I'm glad I did it anyway because it was a fun experience, and I taught myself some new stuff, and I learned some new skills, and I was able to expand on what I like doing. So overall, I love this project. I'm glad I went ahead and did it, and I really hope it sits well with the Owl House community. Here we have the neck pieces. There are a lot of issues with these. Well, this is missing a peg. The friction kind of varies because the friction fit did not work upon printing, and I had to shave some of these pegs down. And there are loads of problems with the neck pieces. They're too heavy for the adapters. When I use like the entire neck piece, I have to use them one or the other. But either way, at its base, it still works, and it still works well. It does what I designed it to do, and I think for the time being, that's all that counts. I know that some of the paint job is a little inconsistent. It could be a little better, maybe got scraped up between using it. But yeah, those are fixable problems, and maybe someday I can sand the paint off and recycle these and try again at the whole design. But for right now, I'm gonna keep it as it is. It's a nice add-on for the project. It works with the Porta-Hooty and it works with the door. I'm proud of it. I like how it works. And obviously it needed to be done because who is Hooty if he doesn't elongate?
You've always got Uncle Hooty's shoulder to lean on.
You don't have any shoulders!
Now I'm gonna review the faces, and what better way to do it than with the door. Real quick, I should kind of point out something with the adapter. It does have its issues too, where it's like the back of this is really thin. I just didn't want it to jut out too much, so I thinned it out, and like it is prone to possibly ripping off. Like you can probably see where like it's held on and where it's loose, and there's just, yeah. But that's a problem for another day to fix. I'm getting ready to move out soon, so I'm gonna have to take this off this door anyway and move it to a different one in the new place that I'm going to. And maybe there I can figure out a better way to mount the adapter. So it's like stronger and it's kind of got grip on all sides. I don't know, it'll just be sturdier and maybe even work with the neck better, because when I have the neck pieces on it, it puts a lot of strain on this. It doesn't break it, but it puts so much strain on it that I don't want it to break, and I want it to just be sturdy enough. So if I can figure that out, I will. But otherwise, I love the way the adapter came out. It works super well, and all the faces fit on it super easily. And of course, the paint job on here, I find it amazing, despite how grotesque it is. It's such a Porta-Hooty, it needed to be done. So I'm sorry to you people, but it just needed to be done. All right, so now we'll review the faces. This is the default face. You know, he's on the front door, keeping an eye out on things. He's not doing much, so he's just sitting there. Sometimes in the background of episodes, you'll see him on the door, and he's just like this. And he's just sitting there, and he's just waiting to have a reason to interact. I like the way this came out. It's pretty nice, and it's just Hooty. Basic Hooty. But obviously, when I was designing this thing, one face was not enough, because Hooty has several different great expressions. This is not as grand as an expression, but this is like a good like secondary face to go with the default one, where he's got his mouth open, he's happy. I put the eye shine on the other side because this is the Porta-Hooty face. This is the face that you usually see him have when he's on the Porta-Hooty and those like default Porta-Hooty images. And I wanted to have that. So this really works well for the Porta-Hooty. It does still work well for the door, but this is kind of like the Porta-Hooty face. And it does still work well as like a, you know, kind of mouth open smile sort of face. Give him some life. As opposed to the standard default blank expression. But you know Hooty, his expressions get even wilder. This face was absolutely needed. This face just had to happen no matter what, because this is one of the most classic, iconic Hooty faces in the show, alongside the smirk, which I will get to next. But this is just one of those, like, you see, when you look up Hooty, you find a lot of this face alongside the smirk. Like, these are like the classic, like default, iconic, silly Hooty faces that fans have come to love. I'm gonna toot my own horn here. I'm gonna brag that I think this looks superb. This looks amazing, and it came out amazingly well. Here's the classic smirk. Now, this smirk did kind of bring out a thing where maybe I could have used some paint to highlight these lines a little bit, the creases and everything. But honestly, when you put it under any regular lighting, they kind of pop out anyway. So I think it's fine. I'm going to leave that as it is. But here is the classic smirk. This is alongside the other like really happy face. This is one of the most classic Hooty faces. It's just, you got to have the smirk. And it's funny how it's from one singular, most of these faces are from one small little moment in the show, and it just like became an instant hit with the fandom. So obviously for this project, it had to happen. And I have some faces from even more obscure moments that I put time and dedication to that just fit this project well. It isn't Hooty without his silly expressions, and he just needs them. For a project that's based on Hooty, they are needed. This is one of the more obscure ones that I have. It's just from this small little moment from this random episode. I don't even remember what episode it is, but I was watching it with my fiance, and she loved it so much. She thought it was a funny face, and I thought it was funny too, so I decided to make it for this project. And it works, you know? It's just like, it kind of adds variety to the amount of expressions he can have. He has so many happy ones, and I think he could use a concerned one So he has a concerned face. Here we have the crying Hooty face. I absolutely love how the tears turned out. I used hot glue for it, and I didn't think it would work as well as it did. I just globbed it on there to see how it would look, and if it failed, I would just repaint it. It doesn't need any fixing. It just turned out really well off the bat, and I got this amazing crying Hooty face. Now, there are several instances where Hooty just frantically cries in the show. This isn't taken from any particular frame. I just kind of made a general Hooty crying face design to reference the amount of times that he just frantically cries throughout the show. This was just amazing. I needed this one to happen as well. And now, the final one. Last but still not least, because who knows, I might still make more faces, but this is one of the coolest ones that I made, and it is Puppet Hooty from the finale episodes of the show. And I still do not plan on making a puppet version of the Porta-Hooty. I just wanted the face because I love how Puppet Hooty looks, and I love how he turned out for this. His eyes are like flatter, and he's got the moon, and his beak is flatter. You got the seams where his mouth would move, and the little. I love the way this design came out, especially where you can see the way the neck is segmented instead of like an organic smooth tube. The effect works well where he's just dangling there. He's lifeless, and boom, just Puppet Hooty. A very nice tribute to those final episodes of the show. That's about it. I'm really proud of this project. I'm really proud of how it turned out and where it went. I'm really excited to see where it's going. I'm going to see what face should I put on. Oh, wait, I forgot one. Oh my goodness. Holy crap, hang on. I forgot one. All right, this is a little harder to put on because it's at an angle. This one, this is from another iconic scene in the show.
All I know is you taught me, and I turned out just fine.
Maybe I should have had a little fly to go with it, or maybe could have had a fly that ties to the back of the tongue and it kind of sits there, or maybe could have just bought a plastic fly, made one, but. And it works well on its own for right now. It's just very silly. Maybe someday we'll actually make the fly. I just love this so much, and it also kind of pushed the boundaries of the model that I made. It let me experiment with how to make the existing model of Hooty's face a lot more elastic and expressive, more cartoony. And I think I managed it pretty well. It's got that nice, the perspective is not thrown off, and it's pretty good. And you can view it from a different side. And maybe it seems like his beak does kind of no-clip through his face, but I don't know. From any angle, it does still work, especially from the front where it's supposed to be viewed. And I love the way the little tongue comes out. You could just hear him going. I just thought, I can't believe I almost forgot this one. This is one of my favorites. And there you go. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna keep this one on. Because I switch them out every so often on my door. And that's it. Those are the Hooty faces. And I'm just in love with them. I think they're great. I hope you guys do too. And let's move on to the next thing. One thing, of course, is the back of the Porta-Hooty. It came out well, except for its main feature is kind of wonky, and it does not work as well. See, the slit here is smaller than the compartment inside the build. And my dumb ass didn't measure it well, but it is what it is. I managed to still get this little paper in it. You can look through and you see the boiling aisles, and it's raining out there. I wanted to do my own art for it, but I ran out of time, or just got lazy with it. Just had to just find this background online, and it works pretty well. It still works as it was intended to be used. And now the final thing is the Owlbert staff, and this is still just a tiny little side project, but I love how it turned out anyway. I wanted to make one, and I didn't want to make a whole separate video for it, so I lumped it in with this project. And either way, I think it's a great addition. There are some segments of the staff that are still a little loose, came loose even after gluing it together. Maybe that's something I gotta workshop again someday. I kept being suggested to make it out of actual wood, like the staff part at least, But the problem is it tapers at the end. So it was easier to 3D print the entire thing. And maybe I could have designed it better so it interlocked better, but you know, that's something I'll try and do differently on a different staff build if I ever do make one. At least for this one, which is an older MT Creations Creates project, I'll still come back to someday because I wanna see this thing get restored and prettied up. At least for this thing, I did actually use a wooden dowel or something inside of it, and it worked super well for that. So I do love the idea of making an Owlbert staff that will actually be made out of wood. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna taper the end of it to make it accurate, because I just love making stuff that's screen accurate if I can help it. I just like the idea of making it as accurate as I possibly can, because that way it feels more like you actually have this object from the show itself. It feels more real. It feels more directly from the show. And obviously, I still do take my own liberties. I know Owlbert here is colored and designed a little differently than he looks in the show, but I like the look anyway. So I even though I strive for show accuracy, I do let myself have a little bit of creative freedom either way. I already showed it off earlier in the video that Owlbert screws off and it looks pretty good. Maybe there's some painting errors. He does have some scuff marks, but I'm not going to worry about those. That just, as I said before, it shows that he's aged and is used, and he's had some adventure. So I like that he accidentally gained some scuff marks. That was a happy accident. This ribbon is still, that's just from the convention. I got to take that off someday. Here's the Ida hand. I love how this turned out. I got to find a better way to mount it. Unfortunately, the command strip has to show up with the way it just is. But it's a nice thing that it's pieced together pretty well. I love how it turned out. Maybe it could have made Ida's hand a little better detailed, a little better designed in some areas. It looks a little weird, but it's very Owl House, and that's what matters most to me. Oh, sorry. There's one little thing here, real quick. I wish I couldn't figure out how to get this to smooth this way before I printed it. But if I had the chance to just kind of make this again, I would smooth this out. It's something that bothers me a little, but it doesn't really matter. All right, anyway, with all the little tiny details pointed out, I love this whole project. I love how it turned out. And that is the self-critique section. I love to hear what you guys have to say. I've said enough on my end, but I really want to hear what you guys think. Send me feedback. If you have any criticism, keep it as constructive as you can, because that's what I thrive on. And yeah, tell me what you think. I'd love to hear it. And thank you for watching the self-critique portion of this video. All right, it is now stats time. This is a really crazy part of the video where I reveal how much print time went into the project, how much money went into the project, and how many grams of filament did I use up for this project. And the numbers are pretty insane. So we have, for the amount of print time, and this is just like the closest estimate I could get based on all the data that I put into the spreadsheet that I used to keep track of this stuff. It took, with everything combined, it took 144 hours. 144 hours to print everything. That's 44 divided by 24. It took me, so if I printed everything for this project consecutively, back to back, it would take me 6 days. And that's exact too. Look, there's no decimals. That's exact. Exactly 6 days to print everything. How much money went into the project? I know speaking on financial stuff is usually like a gray area. I don't want to flex the money I spent on something, and that's not my intention when I talk about the money that went into the project. So Bamboo Lab Studio has this thing where it'll tell you how many grams of filament cost whatever amount based on the cost of a spool, which is usually like $22 per spool. So it takes the cost of that and determines the cost for whatever amount of kilograms of filament. So that's where this basically comes from. So the amount of money that went into this, took quite a lot. So the total amount of money from the filament used is a whopping $96.32. And I think that's the most I've spent on a project. I think. I don't know, but like that's still a hefty sum. And on top of that, I had to buy an extra material for this project. And I'm excluding paint costs and everything. That doesn't matter. I did buy paint during this project, but I didn't, it wasn't used for the project, so I don't count that at all. But I did buy those straps, and those were like $8. So it brings the amount of money that went into this project to a grand total of $105.28. And that is why I'm not going to be mass producing these hoodies. And now for the gram usage. The amount of grams of filament used for this project was 3,954.96, which is 3.95 kilograms of filament. And for you 3D printing hobbyists out there, you would know that that is nearly 4 entire spools of filament used. 4 entire spools, nearly 4 entire spools that went straight into this project. But it was well worth it because this project was amazing and it turned out great. I love it. I hope you guys love it. I know I keep saying that, but I'm so proud of it. It's very impressive to me. So, but I wasn't the only one who worked on this thing. If you watch MT Creations Creates episodes, then you know we also have to thank my Bamboo Lab A1, Ayuna, for her time and dedication on this project. Despite the print failures and despite all the hassle that I've had, Ayuna still pulled through and delivered. So thank you, Ayuna, so much. You did great. She even has a song for you guys to show her appreciation for being able to work on this project. I'm gonna remind you guys, Ayuna is not the greatest at singing, so you just be nice, okay? She's doing her best. Just be nice to her for me. Go on, Ayuna. It's okay. Sing your song. She's preparing. She's warming up. Yay! Good job, Ayuna. Good job. You did good. I could barely even tell that was the Owl House theme. I have found a good stopping point in the project, but I need to actually conclude this video. I know it's been long and maybe a little messy, but for me, making YouTube videos is all about the fun. I don't try and worry too much about viewer retention and like trying to make the video manufactured to be engaging and fun. I made a comment about that earlier in this video. Despite my constant want for there to be an audience on this channel and viewers, I still strive to not make YouTube feel like a job. Like, this whole thing is a hobby. I said earlier that I did this for no good reason. That was a lie. I did this because I thought it would be fun, and it was really fun. And would I do it again? Absolutely. And I don't care who does or doesn't see it, honestly. But either way, for the few or many people who come and see this video and see it till this point, thank you so much. You will be rewarded. I have a really cool end credit sequence right after this that I've been dying to show you. So with that out of the way, this video's been long, very messy, but I mean I'm here to be genuine with these videos and just I like building MT Creations Creates episodes as if you're sitting down with me watching me do things instead of just like, ping-ponging all over the place, right? Maybe I do have some moments where suddenly like, oh, this is already done. Where's the process for that? But whatever. It is what it is. I make these videos the way they are. But you know what, while you're here still watching the end of this video, is a great place to say, I'd still love to hear your feedback. Please send me feedback, tell me what you want to see, and I will do my best, because I do all this for me, but if I have an audience that wants to see things differently or wants to give me feedback on how to improve, I mean, I don't do this only for myself. Like, I mean, I'm putting it on YouTube for an audience. I'm probably being a little confusing right now, but the point is, I had fun with this, and I hope you did too. To the few or many people that watched this video, thank you so much. It means a lot to me that anyone watches it. It would be really cool if Dana Terrace or like Alex Hirsch ends up watching this. And if you are, by any small cosmic chance, Hooty is one of the greatest characters ever freaking made, okay? Like, I love the tube demon bird. Holy crap. And Dana Terrace, I can't wait for Knights of Guinevere. Holy crap. It's good stuff. So, I don't want to drag this on too much. I've said what I want to say. So, here is that cool end credit sequence. Thank you so much for watching MT Creations Creates. Man, these projects do kind of build up quite the cost. Although, if you want to support me and what I do and see more of this kind of stuff, then you can go and visit my Etsy shop. I do a lot of 3D printed stuff, but I always try and stay away from that general 3D printed slop kind of stuff. I like to design from scratch and make my own functional prints and knickknacks and anything that I can come up with. So go ahead, check it out. I know I'm doing the shameless plug right now. I would do a Patreon and do the whole put your name at the end of a video and release content early, but I don't think I'm popular enough for it. But you can prove me wrong on that, and if there are enough votes, I will start a Patreon. But for the time being, you can go check out my Etsy shop, get something from it, and that money will go towards making cool new videos, quite like this one. The one you just saw. And I am gonna be using this as a general end of video thing. I'm sorry, I need the support I can get. So if you do want to support me, MT Creations, and what I do here, there's a place to do it. And if you don't have any cash, nothing you want to buy from me, which if you don't find anything on the Etsy shop, I do regularly try to update it, so just wait a bit. Maybe something will pop up that you like. But if you just do not want to give me money, your attention is more than enough to keep me going. You can still go to my socials and my secondary channel. Tell your friends and family about what MT Creations is and what MT Creations does, and that will be enough for me. So with that said, thank you for your attention to this matter. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.